Get closer. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to you from nearly a freezing lake out here in Iceland, and you might be wondering, Eman, what the hell is this video? I'm sat here with Josh Mason, who is also goes by Detox Dudes. He is my detox coach, and we probably only have 3 or 4 minutes in here to shoot this video for you because it is that cold. But what you guys also want as entrepreneurs is quick, easy, this one's not gonna be easy, but quick, actionable tips for ways to have more clarity, focus, productivity. And cold exposure is one of the best ways to do it. And this is cold exposure on steroids. But Josh is just going to talk real quick about some of the ways that you can implement cold exposure into your life.
Yeah, this water is probably like 35 degrees, 38 degrees Fahrenheit. That might be like 1 or 2 degrees Celsius. We've been doing this all day, so we definitely already have a chill in our bones. The more you do it, the harder it is in a day, obviously. So basically, cold water therapy, what it does is it allows your body, it stresses the body really intensely, okay? It's called a hormetic response. When you stress the body, one temperature shift either down or high. So stress the body either in cold or in heat. So alternating between cold and heat is really an amazing thing. So what we're doing right now is look, meat lasts longer in the freezer. When you put your body in cold water, all of your muscles, your tissues, they compress, they get really, really, really small and tight, and all of your capillaries, these pathways, these highways that blood is transported throughout your entire body, they get really, 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 really small. And then when you get out of the cold water, they get big again. And that exercise of the capillaries is one of the most amazing things for inflammation, for the immune system, for mental health, right? When you reduce inflammation systemically as powerfully as this does right here, I mean, we're already just totally, and I'm speaking and I'm not able to breathe, so it's even harder to be in here, but we're just totally shocking the system in a controlled, healthy way, which allows the body to experience that type of stress and for it to be beneficial, right? So we're so comfortable in today's age. We have thermostats in every vehicle, in every hotel room, in every apartment, so we don't actually experience what it's like to have this level of stress the way we used to back in the day when we had to hunt and fish and be in extreme conditions. So this, and another thing is, nobody actually wants to do this. So when you do stuff that you don't want to do, you train your system, train your body to be able to do stuff for the rest of the day that you don't necessarily want to do. So it really works out that muscle of discipline.
So real quick, in terms of, because look, right now we're here in Iceland, and you got any lake that you can jump into, but for someone, let's say, who lives in London, New York, what are really your options?
Options are cold showers.
What are your options in terms of cold exposure, and what time of day do you recommend? And you've talked about very micro level things here, but from a macro view, that's the actual benefits of it. Can you talk about what these folks can expect?
Yeah. So basically what you can do at your home is you can take cold showers. Okay, take a cold shower every morning. I'm starting to really get it. Take a cold shower every morning. Cold shower at night is also awesome. It helps with waking you up, but also it can help you fall asleep. Jump in natural lakes and natural rivers, assuming that they're clean, any chance you have. And it's even better if you can go to places like this where they have sauna followed by cold water therapy. So what does it do practically for somebody?
Yeah.
You're
Keep in
gonna
mind, I have an entrepreneur audience.
They're going to be able to get into flow state 10 times easier. After a cold shower, it's literally like drinking a coffee, except there's no crash. It's clean, clear energy. Your brain will feel very, very clear, and you're going to be able to jump into the task at hand with total flow.
And I can tell you that when you start your day with a proper cold shower, I do tons of meditation, I do tons of breathing work, and I do tons of stuff to get, even when I'm sitting working, I use something called Brain FM. It's clinically studied, just optimized. It's basically binaural beats on steroids. I've got my incense stick burning. I've set up my entire environment for just pure focus, but I can tell you nothing gets me as present and it gets me as present and forces me to focus as much as just shocking the system with cold exposure.
Let's get in the fucking sauna.
You done?
Dude, I'm so done.
All right, you know what? We can pick it up and talk to us.
Yeah. All right. When you do that all day, my first 10 times, obviously, it wasn't so intense, but my body's been detoxing all day and we haven't really eaten in a while, so it's like when you're spread thin, it's definitely a lot harder to maintain. Anyway, just making an excuse for why I'm shaking so much.
So we had to jump in the geothermal tub.
Yeah.
The geothermal tub. So went from literally 1 or 2 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius. But anyways, as I said, in order for you to do your best work, you need to be in a state of flow. And if, in order to be in a state of flow, you need to be present. And the thing is, it's all fine and well saying you need to be present, but in our day and age where you have so many distractions, you have so many moving parts, it's so hard for people to get present. Even when, I'm an avid meditator, I've been meditating for 4 or 5 years. What gets me more present, meditating or just meditation? I get to a place where I'm so present, but it takes me 5 to 10 minutes to get to that place. Whereas and sometimes in a meditation session, I don't even get to that point. Whereas with cold exposure, I jump into an ice bath, I jump into a lake, I jump into a cold shower. I don't have a choice whether I'm present or not. It just happens. It forces you to be present, right? And when you can start your morning off just being totally present, then that kicks in the state of flow much quicker.
Yes.
So that's one thing. The other thing I want to talk about is getting sick. So can you tell the audience, because the thing is, for the last 2 weeks, funnily enough, just before I came to Iceland, I've been sick. And I haven't been sick in 4 years. And I'm not gonna lie, I was talking to Josh earlier. I genuinely believed that I wouldn't get sick for a decade. I was like, I just don't get sick. I have great genetics and stuff like that. But I got sick and I didn't realize how much being sick takes away from your work. And for the past 2 weeks, my work output's been 20-30%. I even had to take 2 days just entirely off. So can you talk about how cold exposure actually helps with sickness and mitigating it?
Cold exposure, if done correctly, will stimulate your entire immune system and prevent you from getting sick. But you have to really be conscious not to overdo it. Throughout my 2 years of doing cold water exposure, I overdid it several times. Overdoing it is like when you're full on in the chills, shaking. There's one guy who says, if you're doing it for longer than 3 minutes, chances are you're just showing off, and I kind of agree with that. So as long as you're not overdoing it, it really helps your immune system stay strong and fight infection, reduce inflammation, right? Everyone is always talking about inflammation. Look, when you're inflamed, you cannot be in flow. If you have inflammation in your body, in your neck, in your brain, you cannot be in flow. The art of being in flow is literally being not inflamed, because that's just what our natural state. Our healthy natural state is not to be inflamed.
And real quick, something that, because once again, before I used to hear about inflammation, I'm like, ooh, all right, cool, inflammation. Like for me, inflammation meant my arm was swollen.
After a workout.
Yeah, to me, that's what, I was like, unless my foot's swollen, I don't have inflammation. Right. Inflammation, what I can tell you about inflammation, just practically as someone who didn't understand the nuances for the longest time, is inflammation, it's just it's a little 3% taken away from your energy every day, like a little 2%. If you look at these different parts of your body that have inflammation, if you're suffering from inflammation, the thing is you can't really see it. You can't see it. And it's almost like you've got these, if you look at a tank of 100%, it's taking 3% here, 6% there, 7% there, and you don't realize how much energy it's sapping from you until you fix it. And then, you've got way more energy, and your set point of energy just goes up so many notches.
That's another thing that cold showers will help your audience with. If they could feel what it's like to not be inflamed, i.e. after a 3-minute cold shower or cold bath or jumping in a cold lake, if they could feel what they feel like in their body and how good it feels to not be inflamed, they're never going to want to eat gluten, they're never going to want to eat dairy, they're never going to want to eat stuff that makes them feel bloated. Most people don't even know what it's like to feel good and feel solid in their body, so they don't know that they're allergic to gluten. They don't know that dairy doesn't make them feel well. But once you get in that cold water and you submerge yourself in cold water, and every single cell in your body just tightens up and gets you can feel it after that. You feel amazing, right? then you have a new baseline for how you want to live, and you tend to not want to stray from that new baseline. So yeah, and I would say that like another powerful thing for entrepreneurs is the fact that cold water, when you do cold water and you train yourself to do it every single morning, it makes other things easier. You know, just like with computer programming, one of the most important traits in computer programming is when you're really tired and you're really bored or tired or something is tedious, there's like this thing that separates the best programmers from the ones who fail, or the ones who can push through that moment. Similarly with entrepreneurship, I'm sure there's a million times in a day, especially when you were first starting or creating your course, where you were bored or tired or confused, and you were like, you're about to give up. You're like, you're gonna stop the project.
Or it's I think it's called the 18th mile in a marathon.
Yes, the wall.
Or the wall.
The wall.
Yeah,
exactly.
Something around like the 18th, 19th, 20th mile. It's that wall. Once you hit that wall, that's where most people give up.
Exactly. So if you train in cold water therapy, when that wall comes, you're so well trained to deal with that wall, because every morning you jump in cold water. You're doing the exact opposite of what your body wants. You know, like whenever we wake up, we want a hot shower, right? But if we can give ourselves that,
or just stay in bed.
Just
stay in the comfort of the bed.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is just such a simple, easy thing you can do and you can implement every single morning. It's just a cold shower. As I said, immediately gets you so present to the moment early in the morning. It just trains your mind to do the thing that you want to do the least. And I mean, look, if you can start the day doing the hardest thing, everything else just seems easy after that. So, yeah, one last final point is, obviously most people don't have access to it, but if you can jump in a sauna right after, if you can jump in, say, something like this, a hot spring, then, I mean, you know, that fluctuation is just going to be even better for your immune system. But putting that aside, just even from a discipline and a flow perspective, this is something you should implement today.